everybody and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. This is our last video of 2025 and I wanted to make it a productive video. I'm filming this after I've just talked about goals, and it's not an easy subject to talk about when you're not that clued up on it and when you struggle with it, but I'm trying my best to make sense of it, and I feel like speaking it out into existence is making things easier for me. So I've just filmed a get ready with me talking about how I set goals, and then after this I'm going to get my bullet journal and talk about some of my goals for the next year and some of my goals for the previous year and how I tried to manifest these things and create some of the goals that I wanted last year. Anyway, this video is basically just me trying to hold myself accountable to set my goals and to try and start my year off in as a positive way as I can. So that's what I'm trying to do here, and yeah, it's all very exciting. I love a new year, I love a fresh start. Today is Monday the 29th. I'm also recording a vlog today about my getting back on track, and I've started today because it's a Monday and it's nearly the end of the year and I want to start the beginning of the year hitting the ground running. So yeah, anyway, enjoy this vlog about goal setting and manifesting and all of those things so that we can all have the most exciting year that we can possibly have. Okay, so it is time for the get ready with me portion of this video. I saw actually someone else do their goals and stuff setting, and they did a get ready with me for part of it, and I just thought it looks more visually interesting than what I was going to do, so I'm kind of copying. But yeah, get ready with me. Excuse this rug and all the mess. I'm in the middle of a big sort out and tidy up, and yeah, that's part of it. Anyway, I'm at this point, I think I want to talk about how I set goals and how I make goals. I'm not always the best at keeping them, but I find that I've got a mirror here, by the way, so if I'm looking here, it's my mirror. I find that I always like to start a year with goals, and whether I achieve all of those goals, is a different story, and I will talk to you separately about my 2025 goals and how they panned out. Obviously, goals are very private, goals are very personal. I don't love, there's certain goals that I will happily share, and there's certain goals that are more private. They're for me, they're for my own thoughts and feelings, and I don't feel like there's something that I want to share at this moment. So at the point where I feel like I can share those goals, I will share those goals. But there are goals, I will run through them at some point, but for the time being, let's talk about physically setting goals. Now, I have decided to do a bullet journal this year, and I'll show you my bullet journal later. I've not finished it, I've barely even started it. So my bullet journal essentially is going to have all of my habits, my fitness, my goals, my vision board's going to be in my bullet journal. Everything is going to be physically in my bullet journal, and that's because I want to be able to carry around my manifestations, and I want to be able to have them with me wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. I want to be able to have that bullet journal with me. It'll be like, I'll be journaling about my days, I'll be manifesting things that I want to happen, I'll be planning things, this is the intention for it. I've never yet stuck to bullet journaling, but I really hope that this year I can, because I really want to. So yeah, that's the plan with the bullet journal. So it's going to have everything in there. I will talk through briefly my vision boards for this next year coming, my goals, and how I like to do it. So in terms of setting goals, I like to have visuals and also text. So I like to see it written out what my goal is. So for example, I'll show you some of my goals from last year, but one of them I know was buy a dog. So I had written out buy a dog and then pictures of the exact dog that I wanted to buy, and honestly I bought that exact dog. I need a physical representation of what it is that I want. I need to physically see that thing, which is the photos, but I also need to see the words written down, and that then helps me to really channel in my manifestations. So I have a big vision board, which I would call like my lifetime vision board, which has, you know, the house I want to live in, the car I want to drive, like my family, hopeful careers, and you know, it may change as time goes on, but at the minute that's like my lifetime vision board, which sits at my desk and I can see it every single day. But I like to do a yearly vision board. Last year I split it up into each individual goals. This year I want to do a physical vision board that's like a 2-page spread of me looking at it, and then I'm going to have a separate page which is going to have written down my goals. And then how I want to do the rest of my goals is I would like to do monthly goals. So I'm going to look at what my vision board is saying, what my goals are for the year, and then I want to take that, have 3 goals and run with those 3 goals. So for example, I don't know what 3 of my goals would be, but let's say for example, so last year, like I said, 2 of my goals, let's just work on the assumption of 2 of my goals. So 1 was run a half marathon and 1 was buy a dog. Those are 2 of my yearly goals. So if that was this year where I'm also doing monthly goals, I would look at, so for example, buy a dog, it would be sort of looking at my finances, looking at my time, looking at what I can afford. So I would, goal 1 for January, for example, would be to save £100 towards the dog. So that would be goal 1 of January. And then, for example, my half marathon training, I would do look at potential half marathons depending on where my schedule in the year works. So I would look at potentially doing a half marathon. So I did mine in September because my sister got married and all those kinds of things. So I would look at my yearly schedule and say when would possibly be the best time to be able to do my half marathon. So that would, like, for example, 2 very small goals, but this is how I think, for me, I find things very overwhelming. I'm very good at procrastinating. I'm very good at putting things off. So my thought process with this is that if I split it up into manageable bite-sized pieces, I'm more likely to actually get it done. That's my thought process. Anyway, so that's the sort of way I'm thinking of doing my goals this year. I'm thinking we're going to do manageable goals, so 3 goals, working towards those specific goals for the year. And I'll do some examples when I talk through a couple of my goals for the year. I'll do some examples, but that's sort of where I'm looking, is that I want to have manageable monthly goals to work towards my big goal, because sometimes that big goal can be really overwhelming and it can feel like you're never going to get there. But if you break it up into little bite-sized pieces, like for example buying a dog seems really overwhelming, and at the beginning of the year, I mean, I bought Cooper in January, but the year before that I was like, I'm never going to be able to afford to have a dog, I can't save the money. But when I started like honing in that that's what I was saving my money for, then I wanted to save it, and I would look online for dogs that were in my price range, dogs that I could afford at this point. Okay, well, so now I've got £400, what dogs can I afford? And that's probably not the sort of dog that I would want. Okay, well then we need to save a bit more, so you save a bit more. And it just so happened that Cooper was on the, I'm not going to say the cheaper side, but he wasn't that expensive. So actually we managed to get the dog earlier because we found the perfect dog at the perfect time and we had the money. But it's not just the dog we needed. I'd started, like, my sister had got a crate. I'd got some bowls because of Doug, my sister's dog. I'd got some like bowls from him. I'd started collecting some toys. I'd started looking at food. Like, I'd looked at what my year was going to look like, whether it was possible to get him at this point. So yeah, that's sort of that's what we're thinking about with goals. So for me, in terms of setting goals, I like to have physical representation of it, something visual that I can see in terms of pictures, and I like to have something I can read, so something I can manifest. I'm looking at the words and I'm manifesting it, and I'm reading it over and over and over again. And if I'm having a day where I'm not feeling that inspired by my goals, maybe I take one goal and I write it out 10 times on a sheet of paper, and I'm like, okay, right, manifesting it, speaking it out into the universe. Now, speaking it out into the universe isn't, I'm all about manifesting and speaking it out into the universe. Now, speaking it out into the universe isn't about speaking it to other people and saying, you know, it's the way you talk about it. And I'm no expert on manifesting and vision boarding and anything like that, but it's the way that it's the language that you use attached to that manifesting. So instead of saying, for example, I want a dog, I want a dog, I want a dog, I want a dog, you're saying, I have a dog, or like, I'm getting a dog. So it's sort of more of that positive language that changes the mindset. So for me, for one of my goals for this year, for example, is I am notoriously terrible at replying to my friends' texts, and I hate the fact that I do it. I have nightmares that I am going to not reply to a text and people are going to go and do things without me, which rightly so, by the way, because I don't reply. So I have these nightmares that they're going to go off and do stuff without me. So this year, one of my goals is to be consistent with my communication. And that's not just like just talking to my friends. It's the relationship I have with people. It's, you know, making sure that I am prioritizing those connections and making sure that my friends, my family, and my husband are at the forefront of my mind, and I'm not being selfish with my time. I am giving what I want back, essentially. For that specific goal, which is I want to be better at communicating, I would say I am a good communicator. I always reply to my friends' messages. If I don't have time to reply to my friends' messages, I will say, I'm going to read this later, but I'll physically say to them, I will read this later and reply later. That's something I'm really rubbish at. So all of these things, this positive use of language, is how setting your goals becomes easier. So what else do we need to talk about? I guess goals in terms of habits as well. So I can be very consistent with things for short periods of time, and then I find it really hard to continue. This makes a stupid noise, so sorry about that. Like goals in terms of like habits and health and fitness and stuff like that. So I find that I do something which is I'm saying all of this to you now as if I'm really good at all of this stuff. I'm not. I'm desperately not good at all this stuff. But I wanted to talk about it because it's something that I want to be better at. So it's something that I am researching and looking into to try and make myself better at it. So I feel like sharing it and talking about it is a way of helping me to understand my goals and to be better with my goals. So in terms of habits, there's Grace Beverley wrote a book called Working Hard or Hardly Working. It's brilliant. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend, because she talks about something called habit stacking. And I also think, what's that book? I can't remember it off the top of my head, but if I remember it, I will say. It's mentioned in other books where you essentially, you're like attaching your habits together to sort of make it, like, for example, keeping the house clean keeps my brain happy and calm and keeps me in turn in a good place. So you're like, I need to keep the house clean, keep the house tidy, and put all the clothes away every day. Like that kind of stuff. It's just like that mental feeling of, I don't think I'm explaining this very well, / not explaining this at all, because I don't think any of this makes sense. But essentially, you want to sort of, I think making lists is one of the most important things you can do if you want to change your habits and if you want to make your habits easier to stick to, writing them down. But I understand, and I get like this, sometimes even writing a list can be overwhelming, because the idea of writing down everything you need to do is terrifying. So you don't want to do it. And I get like that all the time. I really struggle. And I find it really difficult to to make lists. Finding it quite hard to talk about setting goals when I struggle to set my own goals, but I wanted to talk about it because I want to be better at it, and I want to use this as a platform to make me feel like I'm doing better at it. So that's why I want to talk about it. But essentially, I love to go into the new year with new goals, new intentions, and this year I'm going to do it in the form of a bullet journal. I'm yet to finish the bullet journal, but it's something that I can build and stack and make and finish throughout the year. Hopefully through January I'll be able to spend some dedicated time to it, and I'm just wanting to just really set my motivation up and make myself super motivated, because I really think that if I start the year well, I always have a much higher chance of having a good year. So we're going to start the year off in a really positive way by setting some goals. I'm going to go, and I've finished my makeup now, I'm just going to go and change location because I need to go and find my bullet journal. And I'm going to talk to you all about now last year's goals, and also next year's goals. But I'm not going to talk to you about all of them because I feel like it's a very personal thing and we don't need to talk about all of our goals. But I think if we talk about some of them, that'd be good. Okay, we've changed locations. Let me put that in. And I've got little Coopy here. He's helping me. I just wanted to talk about my little bullet journal. Now, it's nothing fancy. It's just one of these, I don't know if you can see that, one of these dotted books. Oh, come on camera, there we go. And essentially I've not finished it yet, but this is my 2025 section, which is stuff that I did last year. I'm looking at myself. And then I've started but not finished. So this is 2026. So this is where we're going to start. So I'm keeping it all in one because I think it's valuable to have all the stuff that I put in last year and the effort and the sort of ideas that I came up with last year. But let's talk about my 2025 vision board. So as I talked about briefly before, 2025 vision board, I'll just find you one that I'm happy to share. This one's quite cute actually. So what's this say? Get 1,000 confetti conversations followers. I didn't do it. This is mine and my sister's podcast, by the way. I didn't do it, but it was a great goal to have, and it sort of helped me work towards it. Things changed as the year went on because of my sister got pregnant, and you know, the focus wasn't necessarily the podcast, so it didn't happen. But this is how I did it. So each one had a little header and then a few photos around it to sort of manifest those feelings. And like I've said, I want to change that this time. By a dog, and there's all the gorgeous little photos of which look exactly like Cooper. But that was kind of how I did my vision board for last year. But like I said previously, how I want to do my vision board this year is I want to do like a double page spread like this, and then I'm going to put all of the images. Now I've been on my iPad on Pinterest. Pinterest is my best friend, and this is, I'm gonna briefly show you, but there's some like more personal ones, but these are the kind of things that we're looking at. So this is like my vision board. So I'm going to print those off and I will stick them in my journal, and in that I will also then, I'll probably print it off because my handwriting is not the best. I'll have some quotes in there, and I'll also have a list of all of my goals written down. But let's go through a couple of my goals for last year. I'm not going to do all of them because, like I said, some of them are kind of personal and I want to keep those to myself. But I haven't achieved a lot of the goals, but that's okay. But I've done a lot of setup work for all these things. So get a well-paid permanent job. I'm setting myself up for that. So that's always a good one. Create a business. Again, I'm setting myself up. That's hopefully going to be this year. Get 1,000 confetti conversation followers. That's difficult, but we're working on it. Build a YouTube and TikTok following. Again, we're slowly working on it. These are kind of a bit more personal, but saved £5,000. I was well on my way to it, and then my car broke down, so it wasn't not ideal, but it was good to have that on there, and I do think I might put that on my list again this year, because it was really good to have that on there, because it was a constant reminder to not touch my savings. So that is a good one. Build a capsule wardrobe. I've cut my wardrobe down quite a lot, so that one we're close to. Be the healthiest version of myself mentally and physically. I think at the beginning of the year I was really on that, and I was really on that journey, and things just sort of declined a little bit, and I'm not where I was, but I will get back there, and we're working on it. Run a half marathon, tick, did it. Do a high rocks. I lost my high rocks partner because my sister got pregnant, and then my other high rocks partner, she was in America when we could have done our high rocks, so it just didn't happen, but that's okay, it's not a problem. And then buy a dog is the last one on the list. So, you know, this year I don't want my goals to feel quite so pinpointed as like buy a dog, run a half marathon. You know, I don't want them to be quite so pinpointed. I have ideas of what I want, but I want sort of more of a feeling. So I'll run through a couple of my goals for this year. It's nothing crazy. I'm trying to give myself a bit of grace this year, because I put so much pressure on myself to achieve everything, that this year I really want to enjoy the moment, and I think that's sort of more where I'm focused this year. So these are a couple of them. I'm not going to give you them all, but these are a couple of them. So be consistent on YouTube, TikTok and Instagram. I really would love to do that. I really feel like it's something I'm really passionate about, and I love creating content, so I really want to do it. Be consistent with fitness. I want to find my love for fitness again, and I want to find a way that fitness is something that I don't drop when I'm like fed up of it. I want it to be something that is just a constant in my life, and that's something I need to learn. Is I've learned how to maintain like healthy habits and maintain a healthy body, but I haven't learned how to be consistent with the fitness and be consistent with the cleaner eating, and be that be my priority, and that be my fallback, rather than the unhealthy habits and the lack of movement being my sort of priority, if you like. Eat more whole foods and nourish my body. More whole foods is a massive one. I've been trying sort of the last few weeks to build up what my whole foods and what I eat in that respect. And yeah, I just feel like I'm at that point now in my journey where that's going to be what makes the difference to me and how I feel. Keep my house clean and tidy. Oh gosh, this is what I mean by I want them to be smaller, more maintainable goals. Like, for example, every month one of my goals will be like tidy the house, or and in my bullet journal I want to do a list of like weekly, monthly, that kind of thing, like daily, weekly, monthly kind of thing, and I want to have like each different room and all the jobs that require that room to stay clean, and then I will assign a day to each room, and then every day we only have to do one room or bathrooms, and that's it. That's all we have to do, and that should mean that the house will always stay nice and clean and tidy. So that's what I would like to do. This one is because I was talking about like getting a well-paid permanent job, and I don't really know what it is that I want and in terms of work. So what I have written for this year is work hard in whatever industry I choose. I just want to, this past year, I think I've really found my true work ethic in terms of like I am consistent with work, and I feel like I was really doing well at work, and I really want that to be, I want that to be a consistent thing. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean by work hard in whatever industry I choose. I want to be consistent with my with my work ethic that I've built recently. Reply to all my friends, I already mentioned this one. I really want to be better at maintaining my connections with friends and family. I just think I always say, oh, it's just me, I'm just not very good at messaging people, and I just think that's just not an excuse, and that's not a good reason to not message people back. So yeah, that's my plan. Spend quality time with friends and family. I really want to make the effort to be doing something with a group of friends at least once a month. So yeah, making the effort to always, because I can be quite bad at just letting other people plan things for me, whereas actually I really want to plan things for other people as well. Make an effort with my appearance, which I have been a lot better at, because I can be a nightmare for coming home from the horses and just sitting and doing nothing and just looking not my best, not feeling my best, and I just don't enjoy it. So yeah, that's what I want to do, is make more of an appearance, and then stay disciplined and on top of things. So I let things slip really quickly, and I don't want to do that anymore. So yeah, that is the plan, is to stay disciplined and on top of things. So those are a few of my goals. I feel like they're not all really big, strong goals for the year. I feel like they're more sort of personality traits and all that kind of stuff, just to make me a better version of myself. And that's what I really want to focus on for 2026, is becoming the best version of me, and being comfortable and happy with who I am and what I put out there. Those are sort of my feelings. So I'm going to start my bullet journal now, really. I haven't, I've got loads to do on it. This is the kind of thing I did last year. March goals, which I really loved. I think March is when I stopped posting, actually. Stopped writing in here. And I did little to do this week, little things. What else did I do? And this is the 111 portal. I don't know whether anyone sort of saw this, but the 111 portal manifestation. So last year I saw this, and I think it is on the 11th. It was on the 11th of January. I think it could also be on the 1st of November. Like, basically, whatever date is excuse the dog over the back of the sofa, it's his favourite thing to do. Whatever date is 3 wands. And essentially what you do is you write down 11 things 11 times, and you manifest it. So let me find a good one that I can... Here we go. I am fit, healthy and strong. And this is where you say, I am fit, healthy and strong. And then the next one, I have a career I am proud of. What's another one? I live in my dream home. So basically, your 111 portal is you manifesting all of those things that you want. So that those manifestations are the ones that are on my big goals, my big vision board, my lifetime vision board. So that I will be doing that again. Probably not exactly the same wording. I will choose some different wording, but very similar kind of thing. What else is in here? Oh, I did a bit of a workout challenge, a habit tracker, which was like abs, 10,000 steps, stay under your calories. As you can see, I did not keep up with the habits. But yeah, so that's kind of, I don't want to be tied to my bullet journal. I don't want it to be, like I feel guilty for not using it. I want it to be something that is easy to use, easy to maintain, and makes me feel productive and motivated. So that's the idea of the bullet journal, and that's why I want to do it. I am also going to have just a standard diary. So I have a 2025-2026 diary that will have like all my important information in it, but I will do a lot of my day-to-day planning in this book. So what I need to do is set up the things like My vision board needs to go in there. I want to do a bingo for 2026. So things like, you know, go and see a West End show, or, you know, little things that I want to do in 2026. I'll just do probably 9 different little things. So I'm going to do a 2026 bingo. I want to do my cleaning lists. And what else did I say I wanted to do? Maybe I don't know, maybe another thing. And then I'm going to start January. So I'm going to do no, actually what I want to do before that is I want to do my, I saw something, it was on Pinterest, but I want to do my, you know how I said that I was going to do goals for the month. So 3 goals for the month that relate back to my big goals. But I also want to do things like, I love this. So this is a Polaroid a month, which I just think is so cute. I don't want to do the movies one, but I am going to do the books one to try and encourage me to read a little bit more. What else was there? I've got it in different places now, but there was a couple of different things. Like in 2006, I will do more of this, less of this. Cute little quotes like, I love this. I trust the next chapter because I know the author. I think I might try and recreate that somewhere. I just like doodling and doing things. I just love it. So that's the idea with it all. There was another thing that I really liked. Habit trackers. I'm not so bothered about habit tracker. I think it'll make me feel a little bit tied to something. But I do definitely think, so in the beginning of my journal, I will have some pages about the year in a whole, and then I'll go into January and I'm just going to kind of see. If I only ever do a couple of things, that is absolutely fine, so long as I am keeping on track of myself and keeping myself accountable. That is the most important thing. So I'm going to try and start January in the best way possible. Starting with giving my house a super deep clean, but I'm also going to be filming which I briefly talked about, I think, a first week of January vlog, which starts today, which is the 29th of December. And in that vlog, I probably will show you more of setting up my bullet journal, and I will also be showing you, like, I need to deep clean the house. I've been for a food shop this morning, things like that I need to get done. I'll probably show you over on that video, because this one was more about just my goals and what I want to achieve sort of in 2026. But I'm hoping that 2026 is a really good year for me. I'm really excited about it. And I do love a new year. I love a new year. I saw something, I think it was on Instagram, and it was like, unpopular opinion, but I can't wait for January. And I was like, that I cannot wait for January. I'm so excited. So yes, I might even take down my Christmas decorations before New Year. If not, it'll be on the 1st, because I want to start the year in the most sort of cleansed and best way that I possibly can. And I really feel like I am. I really feel like I'm going into 2026 in a really positive mindset, and I'm really excited about it. So I think that's probably enough chatting for now. I would love this video to do well, but I'm just worried that I have talked a lot and rambled a lot. So when it comes to editing, it might be an interesting edit, but that it is what it is. But anyway, I am going to go, and I really appreciate you for watching. I can't wait to share 2026 with you. One of my main goals is to stay consistent on YouTube. So here's to putting out a video every week on YouTube. I'm manifesting it. I'm saying it here. Let's hope that we can do it. I already have this one going out, and then I have obviously my next one that I'm filming first week of January, and then hopefully I do actually have a video filmed from back in the summer when I went on a girls trip, so at some point that'll be coming out, but we're just going to sort of see how the month goes. But I'm definitely going to stay consistent, because I really want to. But that's probably it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in 2026.